All right, fellas, we are back with another Dragon Ball Legends video, and this one has the potential to be a big one. Now, I'm not going to speculate too much in this video. I'm just going to let the data miners speak for themselves. Now, the first thing you're going to see on your screen here is TZ Amon over on Twitter asking, is it finally time for giants in Dragon Ball Legends? I think this idea might be still a little far-fetched for what we're going to talk about here in a minute, but the main thing is that ground battles could very well be happening in the near future for Dragon Ball Legends. As we know, the huge Dragon Ball Legends 2.0 update just went live at the start of the anniversary, and with that we got a couple of new changes so far, but with them constantly hyping this anniversary up as it will be the greatest anniversary in the history of the game. It's going to be groundbreaking, blow every other anniversary out of the water. We're still waiting for a lot of things to happen. Now, transforming Master Ultra Instinct Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, they're just scratching the surface. But if ground battle was to, you know, finally come to the game, as a lot of people have been speculating, especially over the past year or so now, I think that would be groundbreaking. Now, where are we even getting this idea from? Well, Spoon over on Twitter actually was able to dig into the files, and I'll just, you know, read this verbatim from his tweet. So he's gonna say that I highly doubt that this is meant for actual ground game mode. Just seeing the wording for this after so many people talking about battles on ground is funny to me. But he did update this tweet, and we'll get to that in a second. But what he's referring to down here is in the files there is something named ground tutorial mode right here, and underneath this it says middle tutorial. So there was a little bit of speculation over on Twitter specifically where people were saying maybe this is something like a beginner tutorial, and that's why underneath here it says middle tutorial, so that would be kind of like intermediate or whatever. But in his most recent tweet, Spoon is gonna say, all right, took a second look at the game data and found that these might actually be ground battles. There being stuff around the game such as right here, it's gonna say area change, air/ground, auto overcharge, overcharge max, overdrive combo, auto backstep, dynamic area, arts area ability, plus possibly more. And he's also going to list a couple of other things down here, being ground accel /dash/fire effect, ground front vanish, ground walk effect, and ground area change. Now, my initial thoughts on this, obviously ground battle would be super cool to have into the game. Could this tie into us possibly getting giant characters sometime soon? Maybe, maybe not. I still think the whole giant unit situation is a little iffy. I mean, anything could happen. I'm not saying that it can't, but giant characters in a game like this, it just feels like it doesn't really fit the style of the game, especially, you know, obviously first and foremost being a mobile game. Giant characters, that's a little bit more up in the air to me. Now, as far as the ground battle situation, they're gonna list things here like area change, air/ground. Now, I wonder if ground battles do happen, how the transition from going from air to ground or going from ground to air is gonna work exactly. I would hope that maybe it's something that happens, you know, in the middle of combat. I think that trying to manually go from air to ground with whichever way you have to swipe or pressing something else on the screen, that might get a little janky. I don't know how they're gonna specifically implement an update like this, but it just feels like something like that, it has to be a really smooth transition to not really affect the gameplay too much, in just with the easeability of being able to play the game at the pace that we play it at right now. Now, as far as area changes, you know, just outside of going from air to ground or ground to air, it seems like this is kind of like when we get to like dynamic area and area change, this to me says stage transitions and area destruction and things like that, map destruction. So I think something like that is definitely possible to do in this game. I think that's probably a little bit easier to do than the whole air to ground or ground to air situation, which I still think is very much doable. But stage transitions or something like map destruction, that's probably a little bit more feasible, especially in an update that could be coming in the next couple of weeks or something like that. Now, mind you, I'm sure that they've been working on this specific update for months at this point, but stage destruction and stage transitions, I feel like that would definitely add another element to the game that makes it more exciting to watch. I know Legends can be exciting to watch, especially if you're watching it on stream or something, But there are things that can be done to make it just more exciting overall, and I definitely think stage transitions especially could make this happen. Now, stage destruction, I feel like this is going more down the sparking zero route, I guess, with just trying to make the game prettier overall. It's not really adding another layer to the gameplay, I guess. It's just, you know, it's literally just a cosmetic effect. Say we're on Glacier or whatever, and you do a final flash or something like that, or Cell does a solar Kamehameha, and it takes us to the destroyed Glacier area, like where Broly fought Frieza while he was waiting on Goku and Vegeta to come back. That would be pretty cool. But as far as everything else, overdrive combo, overcharge max, these seems like a lot of game mechanics that are gonna be coming into the game. Ground to Cell, dash, fire effect, ground front dash, the ground walk effect. Seeing characters walk on the ground, and we can go back to TZ's photo over here. Yo, this photo of Goku running on the ground, bro, looks like he's in like GTA 5 or something like that. This is gonna be hilarious. I can't wait to see how something like this would work. But ground battles coming to the game in Dragon Ball Legends in this new huge update for the 7th anniversary. It looks like this could very well be a thing coming sometime soon. I gotta know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. And obviously this right here is from an animation that TZ made. I don't want you guys thinking that this was like dug out of the files, or somebody, we got like an inside Bandai spy or something like that. But this kind of leads me to believe that if we're to, I guess, go off of the game data that was data mined here, and ground battles are soon to be introduced into Dragon Ball Legends, the next most logical big update, in my opinion, would probably be, outside of giant characters of course, would be landscape mode for all devices, right? Even though I'm pretty sure they've already implemented this for Android devices, but landscape mode across all versions of Dragon Ball Legends would be fire, man. I know our eyes are kind of already trained to see something like this in the portrait resolution across you know, what all of our mobile devices are capable of. But even without landscape mode, I just like watching this game in tablet resolution. The tablet resolution where it's like wider margins right here, they're about maybe right here, right? I really like watching the game in that res, man. If they could, I wish all devices were able to have that. You know, I don't play my game on a tablet, but if I was to get like another Android device or another tablet, then that would be just a huge plus to me. So introducing landscape mode across all versions of Dragon Ball Legends, as well as ground battles. And I know some of you guys really want this, but giant characters as well. I feel like if ground battles became a thing, giant characters could maybe be possible. I'm not really the biggest fan of that idea, but I know there's a community of people out there that want it. Now, would they update the UI? If they implemented landscape mode across all devices, would they update the in-game UI to kind of reflect that a little better? Because this right here, I mean, it works, but like I said, your eyes are still trained to kind of, you know, work within the parameters of this mobile game resolution, or this mobile resolution right here, the portrait mode. So they could implement another update for the in-game UI. Since they didn't really do that, it was for, you know, like the menus and things for the update that we got, what, a week or two ago. So all of this stuff seems like it could be happening really soon, guys. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed yet until we get confirmation from the Dragon Ball Legends team and Bandai themselves. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments for ground battles, area changes, stage transitions, map destruction, things like that, possibly coming to Dragon Ball Legends, man. This is going to be a massive update. And it really makes sense why 4 GB of RAM is now required to run Dragon Ball Legends. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game data right here. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Definitely go and follow Spoon and also TZ Amon over on Twitter for putting all of this information out there for us to kind of speculate on and really just hope for with the next big update in Dragon Ball Legends. So with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about ground battles possibly coming to Dragon Ball Legends, air to ground and ground to air combat, possibly stage transitions and map destruction as well, and a whole lot more game mechanics also. Now, I have no idea how they're going to implement all of this stuff with the limited screen size that a lot of us play with since we play on our mobile devices, but it seems like the mechanics and combat in Dragon Ball Legends is just about to explode. And I'm actually, after seeing all of this stuff, I'm really excited for the rest of the 7th anniversary. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Have a great day, fellas, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.